get chance, be patient, but I don't like waiting. If I don't blow soon, wifey gon' be debating. Don't do it. She stay, where should she go? I hate to see her leave, but it's on with the show. What we have is real, but if the wind blows, the one thing that's infinite is my flow. You can't divorce that, never had to force that. Got the city riding with me like my tracks on horseback. Whoa, but one time, that ain't gon' cut it. To really make noise, I need about 100. The experts say that takes a lot of funning. So Jay, let's get to running. Keep throwing tracks at me to the game and stop happy. Mayweather with the mic, vocals been a tad jabby. Target is the faces of everyone who laughed at me. This ain't Hogwarts, but musically we have that on my family. I put that on my name. I will always be true to the game. I put that on everything, 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 everything. I put that on my mama. I put that on my wife. I put that on my first born baby in my life. I put that on everything, 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 everything. Voted the best local, my aim's been higher. Love my city, but I'd rather have an empire. We're on the highway, what we doing? Road tripping, like them frat boys, but the goal is different. You can be certain I am on my Tyler Durden, trying to get this dream working till my residency's perfect. Yes, sir. I want it flawless when I wake. God made me in his image, so that's all I'm gonna take. I'm out here, homie, without fear on me. And promoting means the first thing you can doubt spear on me. Bottoms up. Go ahead, spit okay. Waterboard if you want, bet I won't beg. Yankee on my back, one-on-ones on my feet. Everything coming to me, except for defeat. So as I sever this beat, while spitting effortlessly, I take you out of this world, call it my clever retreat. I put that on my family, I put that on my name. I will always be true to the game. I put that on everything, 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 everything. I put that on my mama, I put that on my wife. I put that on my firstborn baby in my life. I put that on everything, 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 everything. We got our wings out, the team's coming up. I never worry about who's running up, or have I done enough? Cause if the sun is up, I make noise. Me and my boys run them up, running through towns like a handful of twisters. For each mile I want a fan with a fist up. Plans to resist us, fail miserably. We don't make movies, we make history. Literally, it's being written right now. Got love for Virginia, but I'm glad I left town. Went from living with my mom like a peasant in the basement to being in charge as the president of basic. Look, bruh, I'm always on my job, like these MPs at an overseas farm. That's slacking for the mother guys. I'm infinite, I work till I'm immortalized. I put that on my name. I will always be true to the game. I put that on everything, 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 everything. I put that on my mama, I put that on my wife. I put that on my firstborn baby in my life. I put that on everything, 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 everything. I put that on my family, I put that on my name. I will always be true to the game. I put that on everything, 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 everything. I put that on my mama, I put that on my wife. I put that on my firstborn baby in my life. I put that on everything, 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 everything.
Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday night at 8 p.m., and this is Brian Powers. We are here at NJRR Live to talk about the world of activism and politics and social revolution going on around the state of New Jersey and around the country. I'll be joined in just a minute by my co-host tonight, QüeDavinciYO from New York. I let somebody from New York co-host with me. I'm sorry. But I'm starting to branch out a little bit from the great nation of New Jersey and bring to you some diversity from overseas. So I'm really happy to have Q with us tonight. Want to start off tonight's program by thanking everybody, of course, that supported New Jersey Revolution Radio, but especially to Kevin Zeese and all his friends and family and his partner, Margaret. Kevin passed away suddenly of a heart attack a couple days ago. As quickly as I could, I put together, I just kind of thought, I was like, man, that guy was on our show a lot. Let me just put together some stuff and, just so people know that what his message was, because Kevin wanted people, Kevin was a really active green. And for those of us that had a chance to work with him, we saw a lot of them. He was constantly on top of messaging boards. He was constantly on top of emails, and he was constantly trying to push people into being better activists and to sharing his passions, where of course many people will recognize the name from recent news is the Embassy Protection Collective, which was covered very well here on New Jersey Revolution Radio by some of our correspondents from the Green Party, in particular, Tom, Violet, Diane Moxley. We're down there covering it. Kevin, his partner Margaret, and a whole bunch of others locked themselves in the Venezuelan embassy to protect it from the fascist overthrow that was happening in that country. They held it for, I believe it was 31 or 32 days, and they faced down some serious jail time as a result. They wound up getting rid of the charges. I believe they wound up not serving any jail time, and thank God for that. But the stress and the situation that they put themselves in the name of peace and in the name of socialism and in the name of defending the Bolivarian government of Hugo Chavez and all of them that were struggling and in Venezuela had results. The end of the day, that clown car coup, that was run, and that moron Guaido, who tried to pretend to be a president, it was never successful. They never took hold, and now everybody in the world is backing away from the absolute moronic attempt that happened in Venezuela. And Kevin Zeese wasn't even a small part of that. He was a huge part of that. He was a driving force behind that. And I don't know, where history is if they don't take the actions that they did. So we put together, and you see the link there on your screens, and I do appreciate everybody. Take some time. It's about 2 hours. It's 3 separate appearances that he did across 2019, mostly centered on Venezuela. I know Kevin would want you all to educate yourselves on what's going on. If you don't know what's happening in South America, and if you haven't been paying attention, I know that's what he would have wanted. He wanted you to pay attention. So, again, my deepest sympathy to all my comrades out there that are, suffering the loss. I'm with you, and we'll miss them. What can I say? I'm going to bring in my co-host now, QüeDavinciYO from New York. As I was saying, welcome to the great nation of New Jersey. It's nice to host you here. I've seen you visit our lands before in Newark at the clubs and whatnot, man. I hope you're excited to be here tonight, man. We're excited to have you. How you doing?
Yo, thank you for having me, man. Let's have fun,
That's why I like having artists, man, creative types on, man, because we do need to have a little bit of fun while we talk about like these serious issues. You know what I'm saying? And we touched on some of your politics in your appearance the last time, man. And a lot of stuff's been going on around the country. I don't know what's been getting your attention.
Everything. It's just I think Trump said we might get a vaccine coming in October, but who knows, So
it'd be nice.
He says soon. He says soon. Hopefully October.
He says a lot of fucking things. Right, man? I mean, let's face it, it's election time. But they all say a lot of fucking things. Biden's saying a lot of dumb shit too.
Yeah, but at least he's saying something about COVID that's got my attention out of the question, So that came on, and then the people is really starting to realize that the government is not really on our side, and we should stick together. That's what people starting to realize. So hopefully that this is I see a positive out of the whole situation.
I do. And there has been positives, man. Like honestly, like I'm homeschooling my kids right now. So they got distance learning, they go in, they get their supplies like once a week, and it's definitely got hiccups with it right now. But like I'm kind of there for my kids more during the day. Now I have some privilege that I can be home and participating in that with them. I don't have to, I'm not running out to work and have to work full time during the day right now. So I can afford to be there. And not everybody has that. So I get that.
Fact.
For me personally,
that's a blessing.
Yeah, but for me personally, man, I'm digging the homeschool thing, which I never thought I'd be really that good at. But a couple of days in,
that everything got its pros and cons. The pros is that they could learn at their pace. One of their cons could be that they don't have social skills, and that's another thing that you need to be around people.
That's what I'm worried about. And that's where like I feel bad because my kid, who's sitting right next to me, he helps me on these shows and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He's a band guy. He's a drummer, man. He's a little buddy musician in his own right, man. And it ain't even about like the music. Like he loves the music and he's into that, but his friends are there, man. Like they get together and they hang out and they talk about girls and they do their thing, or whatever. And he doesn't have that, and we're trying to figure out ways to replace that. So, like you said, negatives and positives.
That's what I'm saying, man. It just sucks, man. Hopefully, we can get it right, man. That's all. I just want to get it right, man, because the kids are the future. They take care of us. They're gonna be the next one, and we're not helping them develop to take care of the world right.
I guess the thing that I've been paying attention to is far more negative than anything that you've been thinking about. Because it's the murders, it's the killings going on, man. It's the killings going on that have just drawn. I'm a guy that I pay a lot of attention to the news, right? So I'm doing this little thing here where I want to come on and talk about the news. So I'm paying a lot of attention to the scene, and I know that last couple of weeks I've had a co-host, Daryl Lamont Jenkins, who's a well-known Antifa guy. I consider myself an Antifa supporter, and I do a lot of work to expose racism and try to aid our society in healing from those wounds.
Yeah.
And when I see what happened in Portland. Where there was a murder. I mean, this guy got killed, and apparently, I'm reading into it. I'm seeing both sides had guns. So when two people face off with guns, that's not going to end well usually. And now there's a young guy dead, and I think that this guy, his name is, I want to say his name here. I want to. Aaron Danielson. Was the young man killed. Now he's a Trump supporter. Okay, by all accounts, he was running around the town in like a pickup truck. There are reports of paintballs being shot at protesters. They were antagonizing them, to say the least. I think it's credible that they were antagonizing them, if not straight up assaulting and really like acting like complete fucking jackasses. Right? Who's gonna defend that? No, nobody. But when I hear about a young man shot, and now another guy's dead, so the guy that shot him is dead. I mean, just like basically, 400 cops stormed his apartment and now he's dead. So we'll never really know what happened there. I mean, the police did what the police do.
Cover up. They cover it up already.
Cover up.
They released to the public. Probably 9 times out of 10 that happened, but
no,
it is what it is, man.
We'll never know. We'll never know what happened, and so. The end result of all this is bad for everybody. And I don't care what kind of jackass this guy was. I don't like Trump supporters just as much as anyone should not like Trump supporters. Sure. But you know what? That guy was somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's friend. I don't know. Maybe his mom was sitting at home every day going, I wish my son wasn't such a fucking jackass. And now he's dead. And, I know I got some haters watching my shows and paying attention, man. And I'd rather just argue with you and call you an asshole on Facebook than see, that real suffering. And I think, and I think what's really not recognized in some of the communities and some of the online communities that I see on the white left that I kind of hang out in is the understanding that this violence has been going on every day in other communities and it's not seen on television. The violence that's escalating in Portland and Kenosha and other stuff is violence being committed every day by police and government officials, military.
That shows you what type of control that the media has to the perception of the public. It's a lot of stuff going on that's not being recognized, and Portland is just one of the incidents. Hopefully it could get fixed. That's just Mother Nature. That's just Earth. But it need to have attention so we could make a change. We can help. Somebody can help. We could do something. But
It's just not good for anybody. Because now you got a community. I mean, it didn't make anything better. And what it did, like personally for me, was it gave me pause. When you hear somebody getting shot, that should at least take a minute to say, okay, what happened and why did this person really get shot? What led up to it? I don't think we're ever going to know the truth. Never going to know the truth.
Now, you're right, though, but listen, this always happened. You know, he's not going to be the last one, and that's sad to say. But again, that's just life. And there's nothing that we could do about it. We can't change that. I mean, he could change his decision, and hopefully his choices will make him not be in the way of that bullet. But if he's in that place at the right time, right place, it's going to happen. So, you know, he got to just be cautious of his people got to be cautious of their decisions, because it could be their last. So
yeah, I think you brought it around. You asked the question, and then you kind of answered your own question, man. Right? Like, what can we do? You know, and listen, I learned this through counseling, man. I learned this through therapy. Is you got to put yourself in places to be successful, and put yourself in places where you're not, you know, where you're not endangering yourself or others.
Nah, that's the fact. If you got to be like Kevin Gates said this, he said, if you got to be somewhere with a gun, that I don't think you need to be in that place. And I think that's real. People need to learn on that and learn from that decision and be like, if I gotta be here with a gun, knowing that my life is in danger. Why would I put my life in danger by being right here? There's no reason. I could do something else and not worry about that.
There's a difference, and I think there's a difference because I'm a gun rights guy. I mean, listen, I'm a Black Panther supporter, and I don't want to take away guns from people that need to defend their homes,
right, or
whatever. And I think, but there's a big difference between having a gun because you either need to hunt deer, or you live in a neighborhood where you need some protection. And I think a lot of us, you know, when we focus on urban gun violence.
Okay.
And we don't talk enough about rural guns and what rural guns mean to an old lady living by herself in the middle of a farm where there's crystal meth addicts all over the fucking place.
She needs that. That's for safety.
She needs that fucking gun, man.
Exactly. It's a world to protect herself, but we need to fix that, man. But sometimes some people can't. Some people, but that's a problem also, because if you know outside is crazy and you gotta have a gun outside, I don't think you really need to be living there. And I know the community is crazy, but that's a government issue. A government got to make it safe for the citizens. You're not making it safe. You're not doing what you need to do. That town you need to get police better or something, because that's not. If you gotta live, I'm not saying you can't have a gun, but if you know, for an older lady to have a gun, that's type crazy, because you don't understand unless she's like enthusiastic about it. But if she's just a regular, she's not about that life and don't worry about that, she will call the 911 police before she get a gun to protect herself. She needs to get out that environment, or they gotta make her community that she's in better, because that's type sad. She probably freak out before she.
That's the real key, is people to feel safe without guns. You know, I'd like that. I'd like to live in a country where, but I'm not going to take away somebody's security. And by the same token, there's a big difference between you having a gun in your apartment to protect you and your family. There's a big difference between the older people that need their guns in their early, and some white fat jackass who's steroided up, showing up in camo to defend a Confederate monument. So, you know, it's a situation. So what I'm saying, the situation you put yourself in matters. You know, if you're going to show up, if you're going to associate with Nazis and people that fly "Don't Tread on Me" flags and support racist monuments, and you bring guns to this situation, or if you're on the other side and you bring guns to the situation, the situation here in Portland where two guys came with guns, trained to use them, and ready to, and kind of wanting to.
Yeah.
Neither of them are here anymore.
Yeah, he need to get out of society. Society got laws for that, but they need to do that. They need to handle that, but before it gets to that point. Yeah. But yeah, if he got a gun outside, I'm in there too with a gun. So I gotta protect myself. So that's everybody right. Everybody right should have that. Everybody should have that right.
You're 1,000,000% on getting our society to a place where we don't have to get there, right?
Yeah, we can't even worry about that. Like, I understand, like, stuff happens. You're gonna have incidents and stuff like this happen, but it's so much of us that we need to police our own stuff and have everything in line and regulated. But again, things happen, so anything can happen. But we also need to do a better job for it to not happen. But if it happens, it happens. It's just what it is. What it is.
I agree. I agree. Let me see what else did. I had one more. That's right. Oh,
Yeah,
so I did want to point out though that you know, I was listening to the news, and in Rochester, I don't know, have you followed Rochester at all now?
yeah, that's crazy.
We gotta talk about Rochester too.
That's cool, but it's just, again, that's a small, like, him just leaving is not really gonna fix the problem. And highlight the situation, and hopefully he should have, before he got fired, he should have talked to that officer or got something before it got happened. Or if he going on, and then if it happened, he should be in the one in the judge when they in court, so he could go to jail. And you know, there's other ways to fight that. How him quitting his job, if he's comfortable to live like that, then that's cool. But I feel like if he loved that job and loved policing the people, he would police that policeman. So for the community, it could be better policing. You know, but it's just him jumping the ship. You know, he didn't make the shit right. So that means for 30, this been happening for years. Cops killing people. So you telling me that's the one that just made you quit your job? It didn't make you want to do your job or police that policeman. You know, it's just backwards mental. You know, and that's why some police is not even qualified to be a police, because they're not even policing themselves or they co-workers, but they rather police the people who's 9 times out of 10 innocent and do wrong and just mess his whole life up, and not that police. You know, so it's headline news because I don't know why, but he could have played it better in my end. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, but just today, because I know you mentioned you were at work during the day, but during the day, so they had a city council meeting in the morning, and the mayor was a little late. So this is the reports from Democracy Now! So the mayor's a little late. Everybody's like, well, let me text her, see where she's at, and they're playing his Democracy Now! Report is fantastic, hilarious as shit. So everybody's like, and so the mayor pops on. She's like, yeah, I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. Thanks for your patience. So let's get into it. The whole police leadership quit. The entire department either quit, retired, or took demotion, so they're not in a place of decision-making authority anymore.
But what point are they trying to get across? Like, what point is that? That solves nothing.
Well, the police aren't into solving things, bro.
They could solve the whole problem by speaking up and saying, being a policeman has a lot of responsibilities. You can't just quit on your job. Like, if you make that commitment and pledge that allegiance to go that way, you gotta do whatever was helping the community. Forget, at the end of the day, your feelings is not even an issue. You should be doing whatever to police the community and making it better for whoever's living in it righteously and on the law. So I don't know what message they were trying to get across. I mean, I hope that changed something to where they could do better policing in the community, or stop a policeman from not doing that to a community, and that's it. I just don't understand why they doing that. It just don't make no sense.
Well, I mean, it's what you're talking about is the political response. I mean, the political response by the establishment is always to protect the establishment, and in this case, the political response from the Rochester Police has been to kind of inflame the situation. So we see out on Twitter, here's the Rochester Police Department, Rochester NYPD, tweeting, protesters have started throwing rocks at officers. Okay, now, I'm not there, okay? So I'm not going to get into, and I didn't get any witness reports, no research on this. So I want people to know that I'm not telling anybody that protesters didn't throw rocks at police. But I will tell everybody that, one, I don't give a fuck that they did. And two, why put that on Twitter? Why put that on fucking Twitter if you're going to make me mad, right? So I'm going to get mad at cops, and I'm going to say, well, fuck you, police, because you deserve to get rocks thrown at you because you murdered a young man and put his head in a bag and tortured him, and now he's dead, so I don't give a fuck. Or you're going to get police defenders and Blue Lives Matter people all, they're throwing rocks and Antifa terror. This on Twitter just shows how completely fucking inept and ridiculous police departments are nowadays. At public relations, at just being decent fucking human beings. If you're worried about rocks getting thrown at you, fine. Catch the rock. You're in helmets and shields and they bounce off you. Shut the fuck up.
They clout chasing. That's what they're doing. They trying to get in the headlines by clout chasing. Remember, the police made 6ix9ine, so and his characteristics, he do whatever to do for attention. So they're not even,
you're talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine, right?
yeah.
What did you, now, I followed some of this. I know the memes were fantastic for a very long period of time.
I don't even want to talk about him because I don't even want him to be like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even want him to know I exist. You might tell me for that.
All right, we won't get more into it, man. We can do commercials instead. How's that sound?
All
right, we're gonna do some commercials. I was so into usually while my co-host folks, I queue up stuff, but I was so into our conversation, man. I didn't queue nothing up. So let me queue up my commercial music.
And I just want the police to do better. They got to police their own policemen, man. Do that.
I don't want to have police anymore, man. I want to have mental health professionals and people getting you jobs and farmers and butchers and you know, knockers, plumbers, man.
It's gonna be a wild society if there's no policeman. I mean, if you're ready to gun and shoot, then let's go. Because it's gonna be a wild west out here.
I know. It isn't. What is it now though? Fucking, they're shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it not the wild? It looks like the Wild West to me.
The luxury of us doing this is alright. It won't be like that with no policeman. You're gonna have to be fighting for survival. It's gonna be like that movie with the Purge. It's gonna be just like the Purge. And I don't think people is ready for that. A lot of people ain't gonna survive that. You know, I'm gonna survive.
We're gonna survive. I don't know how. I can't answer your question, but I'll tell you we will survive, right?
We will survive.
Diana Ross?
Yes, I am.
I wish I had the rights to play great music like that on this show. We can't afford it. That means you have to donate, okay? If you're listening at home and you're enjoying me and QüeDavinciYO here, you're enjoying what's coming up, we're going to talk to a great community organizer dedicated a lot to sports, and we're going to talk about how that involves with political action, all kinds of stuff. We can't do it unless you support us, and you can do that by making a contribution at www.njrevolutionradio.com. I've set a little goal for ourselves. It's $1,000 a month in regular contributions. Right now, we have $1 a month in regular contributions. It's not something I want to stay on the air because it's very fucking small. That doesn't mean people haven't contributed, and that doesn't mean you haven't given. Like, hundreds of people have donated money. But what we're asking for is for people to donate money on the regular, $15-20 a month. And that gives us an ability to start to really hire staff and budget out and plan things, save a little money for special events here and there. I don't have the ability to do that, but you can help me do that by going to that website one more time, www.njrevolutionradio.com, and making a contribution online. We are also sponsored tonight by One People's Project. Hate Has Consequences. Our comrade Daryl, who I brought up in the last segment. Of course, you can give to him too, www.onepeoplesproject.org, or check out idavox.com. Daryl, of course, is our partner in Antifa, making sure that we know who is promulgating hate in your communities, right? It's not this big political Biden, Trump show, spectacle, bougie shit. No, this is real grassroots stuff. If there's a Nazi in your town, you're going to want to know about him, whether he's organized or not. We've had that happen in our home state of New Jersey repeatedly. We have this jackass in Northwest Jersey named the kid Hitler. You know, I want to know if that is in my neighborhood, okay? And I think you do too. So please check out Daryl's work at One People's Project. Again, that's www.onepeoplesproject.org. I'm going to bring in our guest tonight, special guest, who I haven't hung out with in too long, but, you know, we're both really busy people.
Ow, what's up, yo?
That's right, my comrade Afrika.
What's good? How
are you? He ain't prepared, yo.
Yo, you caught me texting over here. Hey, it's not even 8:30, bro. You cheating? Yo. You told me 8:30.
I saw you in the waiting room. I was excited to talk to you, man. Yeah,
what's good? What's good? What you want to talk about?
So let's you know, you've been on the show before, right? We had a great conversation. It was you, me, and Margaret Kimberly. It was a couple months ago. As these uprising came off right after the murder in Minneapolis of oh god, I want to say his name, George Floyd. And you know, we talked about whether it's going to be a revolution or not. And we're a couple hundred something days after this, and people are still in the streets. You told me it wasn't a revolution. Is it a revolution yet? Is it a revolution yet?
No, it's not a revolution. Whatever.
Q, you cheered me up a little bit. You in the beginning, man. Can you try?
Nah, but you see mass people mobilizing. It's people mobilizing, going out in the streets, but it's nothing organized. And as long as it's not organized, it's not a revolution. I mean, like that's where I'm at with it, man. It's a lot of mobilizing, but I don't see nothing that like. There are no demands. There's nobody being told has to do anything. People are just out in the street upset. And it hasn't been organized yet into something positive, into something productive. And I haven't seen that yet. You seen that?
Nah, you're right. You're right. We still in step one.
Yeah, like we need, well, it's 8:30 now, so we could jump into the NBA too, right?
No, man. What do you think this is? This is like a strict, we're just hanging out, man. I want to hear your thoughts.
No, because I don't want to jump the gun.
No,
I don't want to jump the gun and start talking about it. And we're not there yet,
dude. Talking some shit.
Just go.
All right, well, shit, I'm ready. I'm about to jump in there.
I think this is a good way to start because it's, we will get into it. I mean, you asked Q, have you seen that? And he started to answer. I wanted to let him finish. I mean, I guess it's like you're arguing that maybe we're in a stage of development.
You talking to me?
Yeah. I don't know, Q. What do you think? I mean, you kind of started there.
I feel like we still got a lot more organization to do. I feel like everybody talks about the change that we need to do, but nobody does nothing. So nothing happens. He was right. So I'm ready for it to happen. If no changes happen, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. But if we trying to work out a plan, let's go and work it and let's go. Let's stop playing with it. The leaders, our so-called leaders, gotta be leaders and really make something happen for everybody to eat and do it. They all talk about it. I mean, they do. I mean, not say all talk because they do like little stuff here and there, but it's not making it leap, that quantum leap. We're not there yet. And that's whack that the NBA bubble had. You see how the police stop and then they go to their job. The NBA did the same thing, and that's whack. Because I want to watch basketball.
Yeah, that's where I came at this from, and as we get into the NBA talk, one, I'll say I think it depends on your perspective and where you're at. I've seen development you've been organized for decades, Africa. I've been organizing for, about 14 or 15 years now. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like you just see everybody's in a different stage of development, but I see more people in later developmental stages. I think that the young people are more aware. If you went to a high school student 10 years ago and talked about police brutality, I think they would probably look at you like you had six heads. But I think that the young people that you go to today in any given community, a varying community.
That's the exposure.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk with some education on the subject now. I mean, because of the world we live in,
Well, that's a little growth, but that's not very fast. That's been like 20 years, 30 years. We gotta speed it up. But that's just civilization. Hopefully, the next 10 years it won't be here. Hopefully, we just gotta keep working at it.
Yeah.
Lenin said that sometimes nothing happens for decades and then decades happen in weeks. Right?
That's a good quote. A good quote. I never heard that.
So Africa is, I want to make sure that people understand who you are and why you're here tonight to talk about like this. And your experience is in your community, coaching basketball in your community. And I just wanted to start off with you talking about that and what you do every day and why it means so much to you and the people around you.
It's about what we're talking about organizing, about coming up with a strategic plan. I went to school to study sociology to understand how society functions. Because like you can't fix nothing if you don't know how it functions or how it operates. So I went and got the degrees to understand how it functions. And it basically says you have to organize, you have to put a strategy in place, and you have to accomplish goals that you set for yourself. I work with the kids as a basketball coach because that's the way I could talk to them. That's how I could get into their space to be able to organize them. But if it wasn't for organizing or the continued struggle, I wouldn't be a coach. I don't find throwing a ball into a round hoop as something that I want to spend my time watching. I don't even have an appetite to watch basketball games. But like the time that I spend with them, it's me teaching them what everything around them is not teaching them. What society has been constructed not to let them understand and know, to their in their 30s or their 40s, and they look out into the world and they see everything that they've learned is a lie. So I serve as a counter to the school system, to the media, to everything that they hear. When they come in my space, it's a revolutionary space. And it's not a revolutionary space where I'm preaching at them, but I'm teaching them the tenets of how you fight in the struggle. Hard work, determination, focus, having a strategy, and every day when you wake up, like this is your life's purpose. It's not a joke. It is your duty. It is your duty as a black person that has survived from the slave trade, that has survived from people jumping over the ships, that has survived everything that America had to hand down. You survived that because people like gave their lives for you to be here. You're not just here organically by happenstance. People literally died. I mean, I'm not saying they died for you to go vote. No, I'm not saying that at all. I don't believe anybody died for anybody to vote. They died for us to be able to liberate ourselves and sustain ourselves. And that's the same fight that we have in today. And like when to segue to the basketball, the disappointing thing about it is I can do everything I'm doing on the streets, everything every day for the last decade and some change of my life. I can do what I'm doing, but I don't reach as many people as the NBA players, these people with the platform to be able to reach millions. You could do what you've been doing. You could start your own, like this is your podcast. This is your space that you have created for us to organize. You could do this for another 10 lifetimes, and you still won't get the notoriety or the response that the NBA will get by saying we're stopping playing. We're not working on the plantation no more until this society is structured to work for everybody. We're not playing basketball for you. We're not entertaining you. We're not distracting anybody. And when they say that, when they boycott it, I was happy. I was excited. I'm like, oh my God, the revolution probably is here. Then like 2 days later, I heard Obama told them to go back to work. Like, I don't even understand how that even worked. I don't even know a leader in our history that has
I've seen that happen. I mean, that's where I come at it from. And you know, like you're talking about the labor power. So I'm a labor union guy, you know what I'm saying? And I've been through strikes, and I went on strike with Verizon a number of years back. And what happens during a strike is quite honestly, it's psychological warfare, man. And you hear it. And when I came into politics and activism, came out of that environment of this company trying to devalue you, right, by telling you you're not worth so much. We're paying you $30 an hour, but you're lucky to be making that. You've all heard you're lucky to have a job. You know, whether you're making $10 an hour or $8 an hour, they're always trying to convince you somehow that they are the good person or the good people by gracing you with this pittance, right? And then, when I came into the political world, I started hearing that same narrative from politicians that like, oh, I know healthcare costs are going up, but we're lucky to live in America. Well, fuck you. You're taking away material needs and replacing it with nationalism. And in the corporate world, you take away material needs and replace it with some kind of weird pride in your company, as if I gave a shit that my CEO had a lot of money and my brand looked good. I just wanted to feed my family, Right. And I guess it's different when you talk about what NBA players with this much money. What I was really fascinated by was LeBron James, who I kind of like the guy a lot. He made some very grown-up decisions at a very young age. I think he's a smart dude. And clearly he made the right decisions because he's done okay with himself. He did
stop hating on LeBron, man, because LeBron had a lot of pressure since young.
Yeah, he did an interview where he said that they always want to make you feel beneath them, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much status you get as a black man. There's always people that are going to want to get on top of you and say, you can only do as much as we're going to let you because we're in charge. And even with all this status and power, his home was vandalized. People spray painted racist materials on the gates of his home, so that, it doesn't matter how much money you have when that shit happens to you. I don't give a fuck. Clearly that's going to hurt and really. But you know what he said? He said, listen, I spray painted the gates. I moved on my life. Fuck them, right? You got to keep rising above and do your thing. And God bless him for that attitude. And then at the same time, they start interviewing the next person, who is the chief brand officer for Uber. And this whole fucking thing is sponsored by Uber Enterprises. Uber maintains that its drivers are contractors and retain contractor status. They don't get benefits. They work and live in poverty. Some of them are doing 15 fucking hours a day. But they're going to put LeBron, and LeBron don't notice. LeBron don't even know because he's got so much money. He wants to get his message out. He's got this platform, like Africa said. So he's using this platform, but right there on the fucking screen, sponsored by Uber corporate manager, talking about how great and proud they are of LeBron for making this stand, at the same time literally keeping fucking hundreds of thousands of people in poverty while they make millions.
But how you think? But why do you think LeBron a good guy and he's smart and all of this stuff when he's part of that system?
No, man, he don't know.
He don't know.
Basketball, and he's
an idiot. He's an idiot, and nobody should listen to him. Then he don't know. I don't have time for that, man. I don't have time for the games.
Nah, LeBron is smart. LeBron for a black man like LeBron to come young. His life story. His mom was young when he had him. He didn't even know his pops. So he used basketball as an outlet when he didn't have none. He could have been going to jail. He could have been selling drugs. He could have been a correction officer or a construction worker. Instead, he used his gift as basketball. He came up and made money. You can't hate it. I could, me personally, I can't never hate on a brother that just made money off his talents. Maybe he don't want to be a leader. Maybe he just want to play basketball and have his money. That's cool. That's cool and all. I'm not expecting LeBron to come and save the people. I expect him to play basketball. Now, if he want to do that, that's cool and all. I'm not going to tell him like, yo, you should do this or you need to do that. He just don't want to do that. And that's cool and all. Now, I figure if you wanted like a bigger platform, LeBron, you should not ask LeBron, yo, use your platform so you could do this. No, LeBron, use your platform for what LeBron want to do. And if you and you got to just figure out a way to just have a bigger platform and hustle. He got that. He did it.
Can you say Uncle Tom on here?
Nah, he ain't Uncle Tom.
No. Can you say Uncle Tom on here?
You can say whatever you want, just as long as people know you said it and not me.
All right. Hey, check this out, right? Hey, this like Malcolm X explains the difference between an Uncle Tom, a house Negro, and a field Negro. Hey, if you grow up in America and you're a black person, not even America, in the whole world, and your only purpose in life is to take care of you and your family, that's the definition of an Uncle Tom. As a black man, your duty is to your people. Your life, the life that you breathe, every breath that you take is to your people. And we don't have that no more. We have lost that. We have lost that sense of thought that who we are, and we think it's just basically we're just living for ourselves. We can't change the system. We can't do that. That's what I said. It was mobilizing. Everybody on the streets, they're out there walking, but they're not out there for a purpose, a singular purpose that they're strategizing to accomplish. We're not out here just doing stuff for us to get rich. If we all did that, we'll never get nowhere. We'll just be here in circle, going around circles over, doing the same thing over and over and over. If we live in a system that's constructed to oppress us, the only way that we're going to defeat that system is together. And I know you know that. I know Brian know. I know we all know that. But then at the same time, there's this capitalist side of us. There's this side of us that says, like, I have to earn money. I need to take care of me. As long as I take care of me, everything else is going to be all right. And then we rationalize everything else around that. Under our selfish, greedy needs. If I was worrying about myself, I wouldn't be doing the work that I'm doing. The money that I'm spending out of my pocket to do what I'm doing, it could be in my pocket. We could have left out the hood. I could be living in the suburbs. But we have to understand our reality, our life is not to us. It's to our people. That's what it means to be a black liberation activist or somebody that lived that life. Now, if you say that's not your life, you just want to make money, cool. You just want to get money. But don't tell me I have to support you because you're black. You black and running for president, so all black people should support you. Or because you black and you on TV, or you doing this, we should support you. And if I don't support you, I'm a hater. I don't care what you're doing. No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general. I don't care what anybody doing. You could go make whatever money. You could do whatever you want to do. But when you start saying you're speaking for black folks, you're taking a stand for black folks, for black injustice, you put yourself in that space. So when you put yourself in that space, you got to educate yourself to understand what you're talking about. You got to organize yourself. Like, look, this ain't new to LeBron. They've been doing this since Trayvon. Why haven't they come up with a strategic plan on how to organize a strike? Why are they going to Obama? The face of.
Can I ask you? I want to ask Afrika a question. I want to ask Afrika a question because he's asking why they. Who? Like who? You're saying they? Like
they what?
Me? Q.
No.
I mean, like, who are we looking for to lead us to the promised land? You know, if not LeBron James to some degree, because I don't think in recalling this interview, I watched the whole thing, he wasn't really taking on like that, like I'm speaking for all black people attitude. He was very much telling like, this is me. This is what's happened to me as a black man.
He's playing his part.
You know?
Why did they have the boycott?
He's playing his part. What he do?
Why did they have the boycott? Why did the NBA stop play?
That's the police brutality. But that should
police brutality on who?
On black people. But look,
so they took a stand for that. So they took a stand for black people, and they said they was going to boycott for black people. They're tired of seeing black people getting shot in the back, getting shot in the face, getting treated like this. They're tired of the systematic oppression. That's what they're saying. He's speaking for our suffering, which is why we were all so happy and glad that they're finally saying something and making a stand. But then the next day, after 2 days later, you tell me Obama told you to go back to work. So you saying like if Obama had told you about the bus boycott, you wouldn't have boycotted during the bus boycott. You would have went back and jumped on the bus if there was a Negro back then that told you jump back on the bus. You're not speaking for me. You lost me at that stage, bro. Like right now, you're doing what you need to do to be able to make money to survive in America. And I'm gonna make this plain and simple. We're not the same Negro. Once you're rich and you have money, you're not like me in the hood, poor. We have two different realities. You could paint your gate up and you could move, you could do whatever you're doing. I'm stuck in that hell. I'm stuck in that gentrification. I'm stuck with those police. I'm stuck with the fucked up food. I'm stuck with the crime, the bad school, the bad water. I'm stuck with all of that. And you get to move because you got money and you could buy lawyers. You could get private education for your kids. You could get security to guard your house. I don't have none of that. We're not the same black man. You're a black man with
you're not the same. He got money, but I'm just saying that's a government issue. That's not a LeBron issue. For LeBron to just speak out and do what he do, or the NBA just to speak out to do what they do, that's more than that's enough. I'm not saying that's enough, but that helps to the cause. But that's
not enough. To me, I
do think still, but again, they are basketball players that happen to be black. At the end of the day, they still gotta play. They gotta be athletes. Now, if they want to go on a black cause, yes, that's what's up. Do that, you know. But this needs to be more towards the government. This government need to be fixed, not LeBron or the NBA or whoever the players. We gotta be talking to the officials. Do we know who the people who we vote for in Congress? Who's our local leaders who really make change? Nah, we don't. So we all look at athletes or entertainers because we more connected with them because we just feel them with their arts. But we really need to talk to the government, and they not doing their job.
Yeah, I think you know your point. Like he's doing his part to elevate the conversation, and that's where we all got to take over. And I don't like. I agree with you, Afrika, that you know he's rich and he has differences. He has privileges that I don't have as a white guy because he's got money and I'm poor. But I don't have to deal with the racism he has to deal with. So it's not and no pun intended here, it's not a black and white issue. And I think that when LeBron speaks, right, you got to take it from where he's coming from. Dude that came up poor, got into the NBA as an 18-year-old, you know, young man, kid. I still in my mind, not fully developed mentally and still somewhat a child. This is his reality. This is where
he never went to jail. He good.
You know, and Q, you speak from your reality, and Afrika, you speak from yours. And I don't think that.
But you know what, though? I don't speak from my reality. I speak from studying. I speak from studying our reality and our issue. It's not
basketball.
It's not my opinion.
Basketball. You know, he's a basketball player.
No, he's a basketball player. Then, like, stay in the basketball plays. Then don't tell me you're making a stand for me and telling me you're doing activist stuff when you're not. When you're just using us. And you know what they use that for? They use that to get everybody to go vote. They use that. Obama told them we're going to put polling sites in every gym, in every basketball gym for people to go vote for Democrats who are the same as racist KKK Republicans. They're the same institutions working for the same corporations. And now, what's his name? They came on there. The NBA stopped work. They stopped their job. They got everybody to focus on them. So now you could tell them to go vote. It was a get out the vote effort. It wasn't about black revolution.
Well, then you tell them to fuck themselves at that point.
Huh?
I don't want to tell LeBron to go fuck himself when he's doing it.
I said it. Africa said it. Africa said, LeBron, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself with your dumbass charter school. Africa said that shit.
Nah, LeBron made his own school. He got his own university. He's making change.
He don't have a university. He don't have a university. He got a middle school, a charter school, bro. It's not a
school. That's dope.
Teaching white supremacy. Teaching the same stuff that we learned in our schools.
I don't know.
Get us nowhere.
I never know.
Let me give you a concession. Let me give you a concession because you said they didn't get nothing. You want a concession? Who plays Madden games? Anybody play Madden?
I used to play Madden.
Play Madden. They put this is one of the concessions they gave. They put Kaepernick in next year's Madden.
Yeah. They ain't give him no job, but they put him in next year's draft.
There's one of the concessions. He can't play real football,
but he could
make a living. Kaepernick, and they got, but this is this is what we're really arguing about here is like, where can you use these platforms? Because face it, like if these guys completely go away, then they're no. And I'm just reminded of Muhammad Ali refusing to go to Nam. I'm reminded of the 69 Olympics, the men raising their black power fist that brought that symbol into prominence that we use every day today on the revolutionary left. So I'm thinking of. Like, okay, I get where Africa's coming from, but also, and there's another thing I want to talk about too, like on a more individual level. But like, if you just give up, if you just say, well, because I'm a rich guy, I shouldn't speak out, then we don't have anybody. We don't have these people in the media with these platforms, like you said, that don't have my little podcast. I'm really ecstatic when I get a couple thousand views. LeBron tweets and gets a couple million. So I don't know, man. I'd rather have him speaking out and be a little wrong, be a little off, be perceived as a little bougie, whatever. But at least I can take that issue and have this conversation on my program here tonight with you.
Yeah, but I don't have the luxury for me to hear him speak out. I heard it all before, and I don't want to hear it no more. I don't care. Like after he done speaking out, he good. Yo, my life is still hell, and I'm fighting for a whole different cause. Yo, it's better he say nothing then come on and get people to go vote for Democrats. Like like you're leading people to the slaughter. Yo,
but that's not what we're saying.
People are that's an opinion, though. That's an opinion. That's not a fact, though.
It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. It's not my opinion. America's an oligarchy. That there's no democracy in America. That's not Africa's opinion. That is a scientific fact. That's a sociological fact. America is not a democracy. So all black people in America, 1,000% of black people in America can vote for the next 100 years. We still not going to be free because this is not our system. We don't control this system. It is a system controlled by elites. That's what an oligarchy is. If you Google it right now, an oligarchy is a system controlled by elites that only act like, that give lip service to the people, to the majority of the people. And that's what we are in. So when we having a discussion, we gotta have a baseline of reality. America is not a democracy. We have to understand that. And if you're telling people that are in the streets saying we're tired of getting shot in the back, yo, go vote in an oligarchy. You a traitor. You a sellout to your race, and you a problem. And nobody should follow or listen to you. We've been listening to you for so long. Like that's why we are where we at today.
So that's wrong, because we've been following celebrities and entertainers. Why we haven't been following our real leaders?
Because they killed them. Because they killed them all. They killed all the revolutionaries, and they left us with people that say go vote.
And then we gotta do better. We ain't doing right then. That's
trying to do right. You see, I'm trying to do right. It's people like me. I'm not the only one in the streets trying to do right. It's thousands of people in the streets. But then you get a LeBron that mutes all our voice. When LeBron come out, when they could reach more people than you could even dream of. So like we could go back and forth. But when they come out and speak, I've been working on the streets for the last 12 years, spending my capital, busting my ass. When LeBron speak after one NBA game, he reaches more people than I could ever dream of in all them years of working. And when you go out and give them a message, counter to the revolutionary message that Stokely gave us, that Malcolm gave us, that Martin gave us, that Baldwin gave us, and you give us something akin to going back to slavery, you are the enemy. There's no need to like tiptoe. This is independent media. This is not MSNBC, CNN, Fox. We don't have to say none of that. We have to keep it 100% clear. The Uncle Toms and the sellouts that Malcolm was talking about, it's LeBron, it's Jay-Z, it's Obama, it's all these elite black folks that lie to black people and get them to go to the slave master and seek for freedom, instead of standing on our own 2 feet and creating institutions in our community to save our people. You know how much the NBA players make a year? All of them put together make over $3 billion. $3 billion. If you invested that money into our communities, we don't need to worry about the cops. We don't need to worry about messed up schools. You know who came up with that idea? Du Bois. Du Bois came up with that idea in 1909 or something like around then. He said, like, the only way we could survive is if the elites of our society create institutions like schools, like banks, like create all this shit for our people to be able to sustain themselves. But they don't want to do that. They want to exploit us. The rich want to exploit us and take our advantage of our ignorance. So they don't build those institutions. They tell us to vote.
We gotta let Q get some words in here, man. We gotta run. I have another question. We're gonna run a little late.
He's saying when I was,
hold on. You guys can run a few minutes late, right? Because I'm into this, and I got another question for you. All right. So all Q, I'm gonna let you get some time in here because Afrika can go, and then I got one more question before.
Now, what he's saying is right. I'm gonna say everything because like I like that you mess with the kids and you try to help them and all that. And I just think that you're going too hard on LeBron, man. You looking at LeBron as like a savior, and he does that on the court. He can't be doing that outside. I mean, he could do that, but that's probably not his choice. That's why we all need to look at the government officials and put people in position in the government so we could be okay. We don't have to look at LeBron. You're more looking at LeBron as being a platform, and he should say it. And that would help. And I agree. I think he should too. But again, that's his choice. I'm not going to force him. I'm not going to tell him like, yo, you need to do this to prove you black. You already black, bro. You already African American who made it in the USA. And that's enough. If you want to live and feed your family, that's cool. Because I bet you if you had his position, you probably would have helped out, and that's cool too. But we don't need that. So I just think that like what you're saying is not wrong, but it's just a different perspective at it, as what I'm saying too, that as in we got to look at more as a government. Stop looking at entertainers as leaders. Let
me answer him, Brian.
Hold on. Wait.
Let him finish up, and then I'll give you a couple.
Malcolm X wasn't a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? He was a leader. He wasn't, or Martin Luther King, or all of them. None of them was entertainers. Sean Carter, Jay-Z, he came up from the ghetto with his words. That's a blessing right there. And he could help out. He already putting people on as minorities. He already putting people on. Yes, he did it in a society that's white owned, but he still made it out, and he's still putting people on. I'm not expecting Jay-Z to come save me. Now, if he helps, that's what's up. He already made his money. I respect the hustle. I love his music, but I'm not going to expect him to do something that if he don't want to do it, he don't have to do it. I look at that as a leader, because that's all. I'm looking at my leaders to be like, yo, can you do this so this can happen? That's all. And that's why people feel Tupac the most, because he was about that. He was a leader, and he made music about it, and he sold records and really helped people. And we took that for granted. And that's why everybody looking at entertainers now to be like, oh, why y'all not doing this and that to help the people? They don't have to. Their job description is entertainers. They're not lead. We look at them because they got the visibility for us to see them. But they don't have to do that. And I also like that you deal with the kids in the basketball. I don't be around little kids like that, so I don't know how they come in the basketball court, or how they come to you, or how would they come to you, and how they feel, because I don't know, and how they deal with life situations. I don't know their viewpoints. But for them to come to where you do and teach basketball, and they look at basketball as a teacher of life, that's a blessing right there. You could probably make a player, give him that mindset, and start that seed about being a leader. So if he do get a basketball platform, when he gets his platform to where LeBron is at, he could really make change. So that's a blessing right there. You could spark his brain and light bulb, so he could have that idea to help the people. So that's a blessing, and I'm just happy that you do that. But I agree 100% what you said. I just think that we just have to look at the leaders instead of entertainers to make a change.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I forgot. I will let you kind of wrap it up really quickly before I ask one more question. If we go, what I will say, like as a white guy that grew up in white suburbs and kind of middle class, you know what I'm saying? I didn't understand black culture at all until I was like in my late teens, early 20s. You know, when I first met black people, literally. I mean, like that was the kind of upbringing I had. The people you're talking about when you talk about Tupac or Biggie or Black or the I'm sorry that I forgot his name, Black Panther. Please tell me his name so I can say his name. Yeah, you know, these guys taught me politics. I would not have the politics I have if it wasn't for Public Enemy or you know, NWA telling me, at least being able to communicate experiences to me. I can't live that life. I can't be a black man, but you know, when I heard Lebron talk, I did think it's a rich guy. I did think, but I also heard a black man telling me about his life, and that's something I don't have, and I need to hear it. So I appreciate it. Afrika, I'm gonna let you wrap up and respond really quickly to Q. Then I want to ask you about your fantasy football team.
Got you. The only people that could put pressure on the leaders, on politicians, our councilmen, our mayors, our governors, people that control our society and how it functions, is the people with the platform to do so. I could go to the school board meeting, the whole city could go, and we could demand change that we don't want charter schools in our community. The politicians will still do it because we don't matter. Like they could call the police, they could arrest us, they could spray us, they could shut us out of meetings. I've done it. I've witnessed people like a mayor try to put somebody on the council seat, try to force and put somebody on there, and then the police maced us because we tried to stop it. It was illegal. When LeBron and them, they're entertainers. They're court jesters. Like their job is to entertain, but they have a platform that no intellectual have. You can't name no intellectual in America that supported the platform that they have. That is what we need them to use to make change. But don't use it to make a mockery of us, to come out and say you're standing for us and then to lead us to go vote. You're making a joke out of the struggle that we've been out here struggling for. Voting is not a new thing. In 1960, I think it was 64. In 1964, Stokely Carmichael said, "I'm done with the voting process," because they won't accept us after they went to the Democratic Convention and they wouldn't give them a seat there. He's like, "I'm done with it. There's no way we can go towards voting as a way to liberate ourselves. We have to come up with a new strategy." And they formalized a new strategy. They killed all those civil rights leaders that wanted a new strategy. They allowed the ones that said go vote, assimilate into the system, be part of the capitalist system. They allowed those to survive. And everybody else, like right now, if I ask you to name an intelligent black man, like articulate, that we should follow, you can't name one, brother. They don't give them the space for you to know them, for me to know them, for me to be able to hear them. They would not get that platform, but LeBron would. Because they know they can use LeBron when it's time to vote. They could go to LeBron and say, use that social capital to get all those people over there that's fighting in the streets, fighting for liberation, to go vote. That's the only reason why we look to them. Because to whom much is given, much is required. We need you. We need you to go put pressure on them. But don't come and use me. If you don't want to do it, you'll be like Jordan. Go ahead by yourself. Don't come over here saying like I'm making a stand for the cause, but you're really not. I mean, you're really using us. And sometimes I really believe they don't know. Sometimes they don't know what they're saying, what they're doing. I mean, I really truly believe that. And they have handlers, people around them that tell them what to say, that tell them like, yeah, go listen to Obama. Go do what Obama say. Obama's the right person to listen to. And they go listen to that person. But once you take that mantle and you say you're speaking for our cause, you got to know what you're talking about. And I'm not going to let you slide. I put my life on the line every day. So I'm not going to go up there, use up our people, and then keep it moving, and we left here with the mess.
I agree. I agree with someone.
Hopefully LeBron sees this and listens to this, and you put him on to who to talk to. Maybe he don't know. And you like that is in his ear. That's why you gotta talk and communicate to it. But you're right. But
if LeBron had you as a coach as a kid, he'd be a lot better off, man. What can I say? We boycotted the game. We gotta go. We gotta get wrap the show up, man. Who's your fantasy quarterback this year? You got a PPR league, right?
I got my man Murray from what you call it, from Arizona.
Oh, yeah. I got Kenyon Drake, the running back on that team. So I'm hoping he has.
The Giants is better than all y'all. We gonna win.
Who's that?
The Giants. We gonna win, yo. We take it.
Hey, yo, hang up with him right now. Cut his mic, yo. Yo, cut his mic. Cut his mic right now.
I didn't.
Hey, I love you guys, man.
Yo, Africa, yo, go talk. I like that. I like your talk, yo, and I like that you got the platform for little kids to do basketball, and hopefully you could make their mind grow so they could do something for that change.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna follow you on Facebook, man. We're gonna talk more. You heard?
I'm here, big bro.
Let me ask you guys a question before we go. Just so, I can be a little brave here. You want me to play the Malcolm X speech that he was talking about? Have you heard this?
You gonna play it?
You want to play it?
Yeah, play it. What you talking about?
I'm gonna edit this so you told me to play it.
No, I want to hear the part where he said, "I'm a field nigga."
During slavery, black people like me talked to the slaves. They didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was a house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh, yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died. If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes. Yeah.
That's real.
You cut my favorite part off. He said I'm a field Negro.
It's interesting. It's not exclusive to the black community, man. I remember being on the job, and you always got the rat that wants to go into the boss's office and tell you, I heard that this guy didn't show up on time today, and he was outside smoking a cigarette after you told him to clean his truck. So you know what, man? Like, I don't want to make it a black-white thing. I'm from Jersey. We got to take care of the rats. That's the problem. It's right.
It's universal.
It's it, man. Listen, you guys are awesome. I really enjoyed this back and forth with you. We're gonna have you on more. I wish I did a daily show so I could have you guys like do a show a week with me. But
I'm with it, yo.
Bro, do a daily show, bro.
Yeah. All right. Find me some money, bro. My labor is.
Yo, we gonna get that money. Let's do that breakfast show. Let's do a breakfast early morning show. We gonna get that money, bro.
Right. You heard Africa. If you want to see more of QüeDavinciYO and Africa and all Darryl Lamont Jenkins and Christian Perez and everybody that comes here on NJR Live, donate www.njrevolutionradio.com. If I get the money to produce more shows, I love doing this. I love seeing my comrades. Let's make sure you guys have the last word, a couple of seconds, man. Make sure you got any events or anything you want people to pay attention to. Q, my co-host, man, this was fun, man. What you got coming up?
More music, more film, more culture, man. Check me out on the Twitter for NRE Twitter. Download the app, man, and you can see all the cool people. I wanna interview both of y'all for my platform.
All right, man. We'll set it up. Africa, what's coming up the next few weeks with you, man?
Now we're doing the same thing, man. I'm still working with the kids on a daily basis. After school program, they're going back to school. I think everything's gonna be back to normal after the election. So we're going to keep doing what we've been doing for the last 12 years, providing the kids with space for them to be able to mature and learn their purpose in life. Yo, if you want to donate money to what we do, man, look, I don't like asking for money, man. I'm not capitalist.
I like it.
I mean, but we gotta survive out here. If you want to donate money, go to the Cash App. It's what's that dollar sign? Dollar sign PAPIEGZ. That's Pop G. Pop what? Poppy G's, man. I'm gonna do it again. Money sign PAPIEGZ. That's to help out with what we do in the community, man. Yo, thanks a lot, Brian, for having me on, man.
No problem. I don't let people ask for money on my program unless they're doing good stuff. And what I say is, listen, I ask for money, but if you come on my program and you're doing good work, don't feel bad asking for money. If people, don't have the time or energy sometimes or the ability to do the things that you guys do or that we do here, and if you love it and you participate in it or you just want to support it, man, $5, $10, $20, it makes a difference. That's a tank of gas. It's a lot. It does. It goes a long way. So give some money to something this week. You all got a few bucks. Smoke one less joint. Jesus Christ. Support independent media or this great work that these guys do. I want to thank everybody for reaching out over the week. We'll be back next week. I've got a special episode coming up about mental health and activism with Dr. Letitia Sampson. That's coming up on September 19th. I've got one more regular episode next week at 8 p.m. where we're going to talk about art and activism. I've got a rapper and a death metal guy coming on, so that should be fun. And then I'm going to take the rest of the month off. I'm going to be back in October. I'm going to take a little vacation. So check us out, man. I need a break, man. I got to recharge the batteries. The kids are back in school, so I'm going to recharge, but we will be back after. So there's still 2 more episodes coming up, and then we'll be back in October. Hashtag is NJRR. And remember, until next week, this is Brian Powers, and the police can quit their jobs.
Fuck the police.